Okay, now we're on this question. The nature of government was changed more by Stalin than by any other ruler. How far do you agree with this view of the period from 1855 to 1964? So my theme that I'm going to look at is going to be how the government chose to deal with opposition from individuals. And what I need to do is I need to work out, do I agree with this question or not? And as you'll notice, um, the timeline now is at the bottom, because what I'm going to try and establish is what's the sort of scale here along this side? What's the scale along here in terms of the extent of change? Okay. So, first of all, I've got to think about my facts. What are my facts about? Well, let's start off with the person that's named in the question, and that's Stalin. So, my facts that I know about Stalin is actually that he changed the way they dealt with the government dealt with individual opposition greatly. He did the following things. He expelled 116,000 members from the party in 1929. He assassinated leading party members like Trotsky in 1940, and half of the Politburo died in the purges in 1934. So these are very extreme and violent. Extreme and violent, for example, the purges 34. Okay? So he is very high up. Now, I've got to get in my helicopter again and go, right, look above the period. Are there rulers that are less or more? Well, actually, because I know my material, I know that Khrushchev changed this not very much. Okay, he only continued what Stalin had already established. He did kill Beria, or was part of that plot of killing Beria. But this is not a big change from what happened before, and the purges were not extremely continued or built upon that much. So he's down there, right? So then I've got the next one. I'm going to think about, okay, how does Alexander II think if I can try and cover the period now? I've got a lot towards the end, and I go, well, actually, Alexander II didn't change it more than Stalin at all. His changes in this area were very minimal. He was anything a bit more relaxed about opposition from individuals, as shown by the trial of the 197, which in 1877 allowed most of them to be acquitted. This was a bit of a change from Nicholas I, but not a fundamental change. Then I would say, right, I would look at the two successors to Alexander II, and I would say, well, there's a little bit of change here in terms of those two rulers. I would say that this is Alexander II. I would say Alexander III and Nicholas II both restricted opposition from individuals by their actions in restricting the local councils and the fundamental laws under Nicholas II. So I put restricted, Zemstva, and Duma. So that's it, really. You don't compare two rulers consistently throughout. Your focus of your comparison is to the named ruler. So first you start your opening statement, you'd be saying, overall I agree with the question. Stalin changed, in my opening statement, changed how opposition from individuals was dealt with more than any ruler because he was so violent, and you quote the figures that I gave. Then you say, well, by comparison to this, Khrushchev Khrushchev changed it less. He just continued. By comparison to this, there was some change under Alexander II and Nicholas II in terms of how they restricted the Zemstva and the Duma and how they tried to slow down individual opposition. But it wasn't more than Stalin. And then you'd say, well, look at what Alexander II did. It's less of a change from what came before. It is a change, but not so much of a change. So actually, all of your comparisons, you are agreeing with the suggestion in the question. Hopefully that's clear. Let me know if there's any questions on the blog if you have any.